Hey pushers, Mr. Naimatsu here, coming with your Khan Academy about the New South. So it's gonna be actually kind of short screencast. We've already talked about a lot of the items. Obviously the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment, a lot of the racial and segregation policies that have been created, Jim Crow laws, and also the Black Codes. Definitely putting down the economic, social, and political freedoms of newly freed slaves and African Americans. So if you don't know those things, don't know what those words are, please go back to the other assignments, do a quick Google search or refer to the screencast or class activities that kind of talk about those items, because those are things that you should already know, and which is part of what we call the New South, which you guys may be saying it sounds like a lot of the old South, right? But yeah, so there are a couple of changes, an idea of industrialization, but again, a lot of things that we've already talked about, whether it be sharecropping or its effect on newly freed African Americans. I'm really going to take some time to focus really on the Plessy versus Ferguson rule, which again is actually quite simple and to the point. So a quick Wikipedia search just shows you the Plessy versus Ferguson. Khan Academy does a really good job of this, so I'm not going to try to overdo it. They do talk about the fact that this has to do with two separate rail cars. An interesting fact, and you're like, well, sorry, I just went from two separate rail cars to something else. So anyways, it starts with two separate rail cars, a white rail car and a colored rail car, right? They're separate, but they theoretically have the same amenities. And according to state law, especially in certain places, the conductor could be fined. The conductor could be jailed for not doing things correctly, making sure they're both equal, making sure people who are white went in the white one, making sure people of color went in the other one. So one interesting fact I learned from Khan Academy, which again does a great job, Plessy versus Ferguson, is they say that the railroad actually does this on purpose, creates this issue and creates this problem, because they're like, we're done with it. We want everybody just to go where the heck they want. It's our conductors have enough things to do, getting tickets, let alone separating people, and probably all these issues that were probably happening if people don't get separated, so let's kind of get this up so that all parts of society kind of understand what needs to happen. So I thought that was kind of interesting. The Supreme Court decision on a 7-1 basis, 7-1. There was only one lone dissenter, who you can see right here, and the reason why he dissents is kind of interesting. Khan Academy goes into it, what his views were about the actual law and about segregation itself. But 7-1, Henry Billings, who run it, they basically said that as long this is not a violation of the Constitution, you can have separate things as long as they are of equalness. And so this is basically enforcing legal segregation. As it says here, it is not until Brown versus the Board of Education that racially integrates schools and then sets a precedent for other racial integrations that this is overturned. So it's not until 1954, guys. So again, there's this, this huge kind of theme we're trying to teach you here, or history is trying to teach you, is that the Civil War ended slavery, but it didn't end these racial qualities and racial problems that still exist in the South today. And then not until 1954, where some of these policies reversed. So there it is, separate but equal, Plessy versus Ferguson case, and the key concept in one of those important court cases, kind of like Marbury versus Madison, that you need to know. All right, guys, take care. Bye now.